By now, for many of us, things have had a chance to sink in. What we might have thought was a temporary inconvenience has become more permanent. What was a bad dream has become a lifestyle. Some will be angry, some will be sad, some will be anxious, some will convince themselves this isn't so bad. We'll all have ways of understanding this situation and coping with it. At first, my strategy was to put things on hold. I shifted my appointments and regular activities. This is only a momentary setback, I thought, a temporary pause of life that would soon return to normal. Those deferred deadlines, however, soon began to approach. So I found measures that would hold things together in the meantime, while I waited. I cobbled together ways to hack it. It wasn't ideal, but it was something. However, as the time moved on, some of those temporary solutions started to crack. My interim fixes would only last for so long. Consequently, I moved on to a making do phase, finding ways of enduring a short-term inconvenience. Okay, I told myself, this isn't great, but I'll put up with it for now. It was the equivalent of holding one's breath while walking through a burning building. But there was only so long I could hold my breath. Then it was time for denial. I began ignoring the present mess, plying myself with dreams of the future. I put myself in a kind of holding pattern, feeding on the memories of the way things were, which I hoped would be again soon. Does any of this sound familiar to you? As time has gone on, I've realized I'm growing tired of holding it together. I'm running out of fuel to keep up this charade. Too much has been on pause for too long. And I'm starting to wonder, how much longer will the floodgates hold? How much longer can I wait? Today's gospel talks about waiting. 10 bridesmaids were waiting for a delayed bridegroom. The story divides them into two groups, some who were wise and others who were foolish. Both brought lamps for a journey, but only one, the wise, brought oil for them. As I thought about this parable this week, I wondered about my journey of 2020. What had I brought with me to survive this wait? Was I carrying a torch? Or was I simply just carrying an empty container? I suspect a lot of us have been carrying something not fit for purpose over the last few months. It's the container we think we need for the events we've planned for, the things we hoped for. But things aren't the same. They're not as we expected. There's no fuel to pick up when we get to our destination. Our lamp doesn't work as it did before. Things aren't coming back the way we expected. And yet, here we are waiting. And it will be a longer wait still, a time without typical accommodations and resources, a time when we'll have to be on our own for a while, a time of uncertainty. Fortunately, unlike the bridesmaids with no oil, it's not too late to do something, at least not yet. There's still time to go home or to go to the store to get some fuel. Even though things aren't as we expected, even though we don't know when things will change, we have an opportunity to live differently. Many of us came into this pandemic preparing for the short term. I don't think we were foolish necessarily. I guess we were working with the worldview we had and the timescale that seemed manageable, something we could actually cope with. Maybe it's a lack of foresight, or perhaps it's something we didn't expect we'd ever have to deal with. But we've got a lamp. It's time to fill it with oil. It's time to illuminate the dark corners and uncover what's important. No more denial, no more stopgap measures, no more life on hold. It's time to be honest, to look at things as they are. It's time we made ourselves ready. It's time we turned on the lights. There's a celebration happening, and we've been invited.